President, please be seated.
ជំនុំជម្រះប្រកាស
The court is back in session, and the floor is now given to the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor to put his line of questioning to this civil party.
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Civil Party, at the first January dam worksite, were you allowed to move about freely and go where you wished?
Answer: no, we cannot move around freely.
Why do you say that you are not allowed to move around freely?
Answer: if we moved around freely, we would be sent for refashioning or re-education.
Were you allowed to leave the work site if you wanted to?
Answer: no, we dare not.
Were there any guards or soldiers at the work site?
Answer: no. I have never seen any militia men or soldiers.
Did you have any family members that were at the work site or who lived near the work site?
Answer: my siblings, my aunt and uncle, and my relatives did not live close to my work sites.
Thank you. You've told us that you were given gruel to eat while you were at the work site. Can you give us an indication of how much gruel you were given at each meal?
Answer: I had 2 ladles of gruel per time, and as for soup, there was morning glory soup mixed with fermented fish paste for 3 of us.
And after you would eat the gruel or soup, were you still hungry or were you full?
Answer: we were still hungry.
Since you were still hungry, were you allowed to ask for more gruel or more soup?
Answer: no, we could not ask for more. Our ration was 2 ladles.
Would you receive any food before beginning work in the morning?
Answer: no. It was until 11 a.m. that we had meal.
You state in your supplementary information form D22/3914A, quote, each of us had to carry 4 cubic meters of earth per day. If we were unable to do so, they would not allow us to eat, close quote. Did you know of people who did not meet their quota and were not allowed to eat?
Answer: I did not witness anyone who did not meet any quota. We all had to meet the quota set.
Did you receive water to drink?
Answer: for daily water to drink, we had it from the small pool, and we had to be on our own, putting water in the tube and had it with us.
Was the water clean?
Answer: it was not clean because the well was dug close to the kitchen, and the water waste from the kitchen sometimes went into the well. We collected the water and put it in our tube, that is the palm sugar tube, and we had it along with us at the work site to drink.
Were there any facilities for latrines at the work site?
Answer: no. No latrine built. The pit was dug, and the poles were used to make that kind of pit to relieve ourselves.
Were you allowed to wash yourself while you were working at the work site?
Answer: no. No water to wash ourselves at the work sites. We had only one time bathing at our hall.
And the opportunity you had to bathe at your hall, were you given soap to bathe with? Or did you have soap yourself?
Answer: in the period of Pol Pot, I have never seen any piece of soap, even a small piece. I use the ashes to wash my clothes and to clean myself when they were loose.
You mentioned earlier that on at least one occasion you developed a fever while you were at the work site. Were you aware of other workers also getting sick?
Answer, yes, some fell sick.
Do you know what kind of illnesses they had or what kind of symptoms they had?
Answer, I do not the type of illnesses. Mostly they fell sick of dysentery and high fever and also headache, but most of the time they were sick with dysentery.
And would individuals who got sick receive any sort of medical care?
Answer, yes. There were rapid pellet dropping medicines in our units, and we would use such medicines for our dysentery and also high fever.
Did that medicine seem to be effective?
Answer, sometimes we recovered from the illness, but sometimes the medicine was not effective.
And who would give this medicine out to people who were sick?
Answer, I do not know where the medicine was taken from, but when members of the units fell sick, medics would prescribe such medicine to us, and I do not know where they were brought from.
Was it your impression that the medics were knowledgeable about medicine and how to treat illness?
President, civil party, please hold on. You may not proceed. Counsel for Mr. Kyo Sampon.
Yes, could the co-prosecutor rephrase his question so he can ask questions about specific facts and not about impressions?
I'm happy to rephrase. From your perspective, when you were interacting with the medics who distributed the rabbit pellet medicine, did they appear to be knowledgeable about how to treat your illness?
Answer, to my observation, there were no such kind of medicine like today, and as I said, there were only rabbit dropping medicine, no amoxicillin, paracetamol medicine, and I could not say how intelligible they were. When people got diarrhea or headache, they would be given the rabbit trapping medicine.
Madam Civil Party, you mentioned earlier today about livelihood meetings. Can you tell us approximately how often these meetings were held?
Answer. Livelihood meetings were held in small units once every 3 days or 4 days. The main purpose of the meetings was to be in full swing in relation to our work, and we were warned not to fall sick very often, otherwise we would be taken away for refashioning and re-education.
Did you have a choice as to whether to attend these meetings, or was it required?
Answer. We had nothing to refuse the assignment because it was instructed by our unit chief. We were afraid of them.
At any time that you were in the old North Zone, were you aware of the arrival of cadres from the Southwest Zone?
Answer. I do not remember when.
Putting aside when, were you aware of the arrival of cadres from the Southwest Zone?
Answer. No.
Were you aware of a change in leadership at the 1st January Dam worksite?
Answer. I do not know about it.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. Mr. President, I have no further questions.
President, do you have any question? I mean, the judges at the bench. You may now proceed, Judge Fan.
Thank you. I have a couple of follow-up questions. My first follows up on the last but one question by the prosecutor. You told us that you were told in a meeting that you should better not call in sick too often because otherwise you would be re-educated. Now, I would like to know, have you been told what other actions of yours would lead to re-education? Or to put it more clearly, they told you don't call in sick too often or you will be re-educated, where there are other warnings of the same kind.
Civil Party, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I do not get your question. Please repeat it.
I'll try to be more specific. You told us that at the meeting you were told, don't be sick too often or you will be re-educated. Now, I want to know, for instance, did they also tell you, don't run away or you will be re-educated? Or don't work short hours or you will be re-educated? Or anything similar? Do you understand the question now?
Answer. Livelihood meeting laid out the instruction that workers should not call in sick very often, otherwise they would disappear.
I've understood this part of it. My question is, were you also told not to do other things besides calling in sick? Were you also told that re-education would happen in other cases? Or was the only case not calling in sick too often?
Answer. We were called to a meeting in our units, and we would be instructed as what I told Your Honor. They want everyone that not to call in sick very often, so that we could not be called for refashioning and re-education.
I'll make a last attempt with direct questions. Were you ever told if you run away, you will be re-educated?
Answer. If we ran away, we would be arrested for re-education and refashioning, or perhaps we would be killed. We ran away from work. This means that we betrayed Angka.
I understand. But were you told this specifically? In these meetings, did somebody say, if you run away, you will be re-educated or killed?
Answer. Yes, we were told. We were told orally.
Yes. Did somebody tell you at these meetings, if you don't work enough, you will be re-educated?
Answer. Yes, we were told as such.
Did somebody tell you, if you complain, you will be re-educated?
Answer. Yes. When we got sick, we would be warned that please not fall sick very often. Otherwise, we would be sent for re-education, and we would not get any food to eat or any gruel to eat.
this is what they told you. This is what you were told.
Answer, yes.
Now, my second question, you said for you, re-education meant being killed. Can you tell me why you thought that every time somebody is sent to re-education, he would be killed?
Answer. When we heard of the word re-education and refashioning, there would be one option for those people, and we were asked whether we wanted to leave or we wanted to die. They disappeared, and I heard that people disappear, and I did not witness those incidents, but I was told and heard from my worker in my place that please not calling in sick very often, otherwise we will disappear.
So if I understand you correctly, the reason why you personally thought re-education always means killing is because that's what workers said when they talked to each other. Is this correct?
Answer, yes, that is correct.
One more question to this subject. You just said one sentence before, you were asked whether you wanted to live or die. At least that's how it was translated into English. Can you tell me what you meant by that?
Answer, yes. My unit chief told me that. He mentioned this to members of the unit, that the sentence said by unit chiefs. And then the unit chiefs would say, you wanted to die or live. If we fell sick, we would be taken away and killed. So we had to try very hard to work, and although we wanted to take rest.
And the unit chief told this in meetings or to you, or in which context did he make the issue of the mention of do you want to live or die? Was this in a big meeting or just talking to you, or?
Answer. When the unit chiefs said that we wanted to live or die, he made that kind of statement in the morning at the time that we were woken up.
Did he do that repeatedly, or did you only hear it once?
Answer. He did not make repeated statements when there were not all workers at the work sites. He never made repeated statements every morning.
Now, what I mean is, did he say it on more than one day? Or did you only hear it one time in all the months you were there? How often did you hear him say that, if you remember?
Dạ.
Answer. He made such statement twice or three times. He mentioned this when not many workers at the work site. So as I stated, he made only twice or three times.
What do you mean when there were not many workers at the work site? Do you mean to say he said, there are so few people, the others are sick, you better come? Or why do you say few workers at the work site? Why did he say it when there were few workers at the work site?
Dạ.
He said those things because a number of the quite a number of the groups fell sick, but of course not half or 50% of the workers fell sick, but at least 4 or 5 workers from a group fell sick. So there was not enough manpower working at the work site. And that's what he said. And does not mean that those who did not turn up to work disappeared or was taken away and killed, but they fell sick.
Yeah, and after he mentioned these, threats, did people turn up? People who had originally called in sick? Did this have an effect, this kind of threat?
After he made that threat, and of course it was typical that when you were threatened, then you had to force yourself to work. And those people who said that they were sick, it was due to the lack of food and malnutrition. And with that threat, those people turned up to work the next day. Although there's still a few left at the sleeping quarter, and they went to work, or they forced themselves to work out of fear.
Thank you. That describes the situation. Now I'm changing completely to another subject. I want to talk to you about the visit of dignitaries, probably including Pol Pot, that you described earlier. You said that this visit had been announced to the workers in advance. Now, I would like to know, how was it announced? Did it come over the loudspeaker? Was it announced in group meetings or in any other way?
when Pol Pot made a visit to the dam, it was not the group chief or the unit chief who told us. While we were carrying the dirt in a group of 4 at a time, then we were told that was Pol Pot, the top chief. However, I must stress that I did not recognize him at the time. I only saw him from about 10 meters away from where I was carrying dirt at the dam worksite.
So just to clarify, you did not know about the visit before you saw him, and somebody said that's Pol Pot. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Then there must have been a translation issue before. On the day, if you remember, on the day Pol Pot and the others visited, were you given any instructions in the morning to behave in any way differently than on normal days?
No. We were not told to prepare ourselves for the visit. At least it did not happen within my unit, and I cannot say whether it happened in the other units.
You were wearing the same clothes as usual and working as usual. Is that correct? Within your unit at least. Is this correct?
ចាត្រឹមត្រូវ
Yes, that is correct. We were dressing in our ordinary and usual dress that we had. There was no special dress or clothes given to us during that day's visit.
Now I'm moving to another subject. While you were working at the work site, do you remember, have you ever been filmed with a camera?
No, I did not see any filming process.
Have you ever been shown films in meetings or otherwise while you were working there?
Yeah.
I watched a film once after the meeting that is at the work site.
Do you remember what kind of film that was?
Yeah.
The film shows that workers were running, carrying the dirt. That was all about it.
Was this a film that showed your work site or another work site other than?
It was during the meeting.
I understand it was during the meeting. I'm talking about what you saw in the film. You said you saw people running. Could you tell, was this film made on your work site or on another work site?
Now, the film was not about my work site, and I cannot identify where it was filmed, but I saw people were carrying dirt in the film.
Was somebody talking to you, telling you something about the film, or were you just watching and then walking out? Or did somebody comment on the film?
At the conclusion of the meeting, I returned to the sleeping quarter to relieve myself, and I did not hear or know whether any commentaries was made about the film.
Okay. Now I'm moving again to a different subject. Did you ever see people with weapons on the work site? Guns, pistols, something like this kind of weapon.
No, I did not.
And my last question, short one. You mentioned that there were no children in your unit. My question is, did you see children working on the work site outside your unit?
I saw no children either in my unit or outside my unit.
I've just found another short question. Did you ever see or hear about cages or cage-like structures at the work site that were used to discipline workers?
I do not get your question.
Then it must be an issue of translation. Please use the same word as word we used with the last witness who said it. Have you ever seen cages or something, a structure like a cage at the work site or close to the work site?
Are you referring to cages where people will be placed in for disciplinary sanctions or something like that?
Did you see such cages?
No, I did not.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
President Judge Zamalavange, you have the floor.
Oui, bonjour madame,
Good morning, madam. I have very few questions to put to you. I would like you to tell me whether you often received clothing for clothing yourself.
No, Only when it was torn, then a new set would be given to me.
Aviez-vous des chaussures?
Did you have any shoes?
We were not given any shoes. I was given by my relative a pair of shoes made from motorcycle tire, not the car tire. My elder relative who stayed in Kampong Cham made me that pair of shoes.
Et pour ceux qui n'avaient pas de proches qui pouvaient...
And for those who do not have any close relatives who could give them shoes, did you observe that some people walked barefoot?
Yes, almost everyone walked bare feet.
Vous avez travaillé pendant la saison...
You worked during the dry season, and we know that in Cambodia the sun can be excessively hot. Were there any places where you could seek shelter from the sunshine?
Of course, there were places where we could take shelter, but we did not dare to take any shelter there.
Est-ce qu'on vous avait remis des chapeaux?
Were you given any hats or krama?
No. However, we were given a scarf, but sometimes we did not dare use it during the working hours, as we had to use it as a blanket at night. And if we were to use it during the daytime, sometimes it got wet and we cannot use it to cover ourselves at night.
J'ai cru comprendre, madame, au début...
At the beginning of your testimony, I thought I heard you say that you were married, madam, and that you had 2 children. Can you tell us whether you got married during the Democratic Kampuchea regime or thereafter?
I got married in 1980, that is after the regime fall.
Est-ce que pendant la période du...
During the Democratic Kampuchea regime, and particularly while you were working on the 1st January dam construction site, were there any arranged marriages?
No.
Est-ce que sur le site où vous travaillez,
On the work site where you were working, did you observe the presence of charm Islam?
There was none in my unit, and I cannot say about other units.
j'ai juste une dernière question.
This will be my last question. Were you close to a pagoda called Wat Barai Chandek, or did you ever hear anyone talk about it?
No, I did not hear about it.
Bien, je vous remercie.
Very well. Thank you very much, Madam Civil Party. I have no further questions for you. May I inform the parties that a film will be viewed not during the testimony of this witness, but at another stage in the trial.
President, my fellow judge, when you think the video clip can be displayed?
J'avais initialement pensé le projet.
I had initially thought that it could be screened today, but it appears that the civil party wouldn't like it to be screened because it may awaken certain painful memories for this particular witness. So we will screen it at a subsequent stage in the course of the testimony of other witnesses who may not be as sensitive as this particular witness.
President, we only have a few minutes left before we take our lunch break. Therefore, the chamber decides to take a little bit an early break now. And I see Councillor Copper on his feet. Do you have the floor?
Thank you, Mr. President. May I take the opportunity to ask for some clarification to the chamber about document presentation hearings? Is it the intention of the trial chamber to do this after this particular work site, the 1st January dam, or after all work sites have been finished?
President Judge Lavain, you have the floor.
Oui, je pense que la Chambre.
I believe the chamber will soon communicate its position to you on this subject by email. So, be that as it may, you may have to wait a little bit because we should wait for the presentation of documents on, as well as the presentation of the sufferings of the witnesses. And when we would have examined the 3 work sites, the 1st January dam, the Chapang to May dam, and the 6th January dam. In any case,
I'm not sure that... we'll tell you after the break.
Thank you very much. And a follow-up question as to the question or the remark just made by Judge Lavergne in terms of films to be shown to the civil party. I was intending to show the same documentary footage that the prosecution had shown earlier to the previous witness, Mia's. Would I be allowed to show that 2 minutes, those 2 minutes, or does it mean that I can show that footage? And
It's the same kind of film, but again, we'll tell you after the break. We'll talk about it.
President, the chamber adjourns now for a lunch break and resumed at 1:30 this afternoon. Court officer, please assist the civil party at the waiting room for the civil parties and witnesses during this break. and invite her as well as the TPO staff back into the courtroom this afternoon at 1:30. Security personnel decided to take Kyo Sampon to the waiting room downstairs and have him return to attend the proceedings this afternoon. Before 1:30, the court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ